That brings us to Windows Server 2008 R2. Windows Server 2008 R2 is a server operating system from Microsoft that was released in the fall of 2009. Called R2 or Release 2, it's an upgrade release of Windows Server 2008. R2 releases normally arrive every 2 years after a new OS release. They bring new functionalities and software enhancements without bringing an entirely new operating system. With this release, we have the first 64-bit only server operating system from Microsoft. As the industry has moved to a standard of 64-bit processors in its computers, it only makes sense to move the operating system there as well. This is important because it limits the upgradability of legacy systems that use a 32-bit processor. So for those organizations looking to move to Server 2008 R2, if they don't have 64-bit processors, they're going to have to buy new hardware. One of the bonuses is that R2 does support the running of 32-bit applications. So you get the best of both worlds, the ability to run on industry standard 64-bit computers with all the bells and whistles that come with those, and you get to continue running your 32-bit applications. R2 also allows organizations to deliver their core infrastructure services that they've been using for years. That includes Active Directory for centralized management, network standards like DNS and DHCP. Server 2008 R2 also continues Microsoft's server virtualization with Hyper-V, which is Microsoft's server virtualization platform. What we get with R2 as well is the continued direction of Microsoft to make Windows Server easier to manage for the administrator. Microsoft knows that system administrators spend a lot of time putting out fires and managing their systems. So what they've done is they've improved the Server Manager console. They've given us more integration with PowerShell, Microsoft's new command line interface, thus making it easier for administrators to configure and manage all of their systems. So what Microsoft has done is they've taken Windows Server 2008 and organized the most common services into server roles. A server role is a set of services that perform a specific job role on your network. It could be delivering file services, print services, or core network services such as DNS or DHCP. The larger roles that we have are made up of role services. Each role service is a subset of services that, when we put them all together, make up a full-featured role. These role services can be installed individually or in tandem with other role services to provide the specific services needed in an organization. So, for example, file services. File services is made up of a number of different role services, including a file server, DFS, replication, DFS namespace, just to name a few. And we could simply just install the file server role to provide that functionality. Or we could add other role services to enhance the functionality, all of that depending on the needs of your organization. Last, we have what are called features. Windows Server 2008 server features are basically software programs that are not directly part of a role. So they're not required for a role in order to run. Instead, they're often used to enhance the functionality of one or more installed roles, or to enhance the functionality of the entire server. So they could be standalone applications such as the Windows Desktop Experience, which brings the Windows Desktop Experience to Windows Server for things such as remote desktop services. Things like Windows Backup to allow us to do backup. or they could be tools that enhance, such as the remote server administration tools or the RSAT tools. The RSAT tools include all of the Microsoft management consoles that are necessary to manage a server. So these are an enhancement onto those roles and role services that we installed.